Now that we've got that physical mountain analogy in our heads, let's pivot for a second and look at the actual mathematics of updating a single parameter. Here is the fundamental update rule. Basically, we take our old parameter value and we subtract our step size multiplied by the slope. In this formula, that kind of strange-looking H symbol, that's the Greek letter eta, and it represents our learning rate, or our step size. The part in the parentheses is the derivative of the loss with respect to our parameter, which is literally just the slope of the curve. So if the slope is positive, subtracting it decreases our parameter to reduce the loss. And if the slope is negative, well, subtracting a negative actually adds to our parameter, which again reduces the loss. No matter what, we are always moving mathematically downhill.
Let's make this real with a concrete example. Say we're doing a simple linear regression problem, and we're using a learning rate of 0.1. Imagine our current parameter weight is 3.0, but based on our data, our prediction is overshooting the true value, giving us a loss of 4. By calculating the derivative, we find our slope is a steep positive 8. Okay, so we multiply our step size of 0.1 by that slope of 8, which gives us 0.8. We then subtract that 0.8 from our starting weight of 3.0, leaving us with a brand new, updated weight of 2.2. And just by taking that one single step, our model's loss dramatically plummets from 4 down to just 0.16. I mean, that is the power of the algorithm right there.
All right, Section 3, batch sizes and speed. How much data per step?
So here's a highly practical question for you. We have to calculate this slope based on our data, right? But how many data points should we actually look at before we take a step? Well, we basically have 3 main flavors to choose from. First up is batch gradient descent. This is where we compute the gradient using the entire training set, say 1,000,000 examples, before taking a single step. The loss decreases beautifully and smoothly, but man, each step is massively computationally expensive. On the other extreme, we've got stochastic gradient descent, or SGD. Here we take a step after looking at just one single random example. It's incredibly fast, but the path downhill, very noisy, super jumpy. So the sweet spot is actually mini batch gradient descent. We use a small batch, typically between 32 and 256 examples. It's much smoother than SGD, way faster than full batch GD, and honestly, it perfectly leverages the parallel processing power of modern GPUs. In deep learning today, starting with a batch size of 32 or 64 is the absolute engineering standard.
Let's jump into Section 4, Mastering the Learning Rate. So, the crucial point is that choosing your batch size is important, sure, but it really pales in comparison to the learning rate. This hyperparameter determines exactly how aggressively your algorithm moves, and if you get it wrong, it will completely derail your model. Think back to our hiker. If your learning rate is too high, say 1.0, it's like our hiker is just leaping wildly across the valley. The algorithm completely overshoots the minimum, the loss actually goes up, and your parameters will likely explode into those nonsensical NaN values. Nobody wants that. But on the flip side, if your learning rate is too low, like 1 times 10 to the negative 7, our hiker is taking these microscopic, painfully slow steps. The loss decreases so slowly that you might just get stuck on a flat plateau forever, wasting massive amounts of compute without ever reaching the bottom. Finding that just right value, which is often around 0.001, is absolutely critical. Now, here's a cool trick. You actually don't have to pick just one learning rate and stick with it forever. Engineers use what are called learning rate schedules to systematically change the step size over time. It makes a lot of sense, right? You might want to start with a larger learning rate to make fast progress initially, and then shrink it later for fine-tuning. You can use step decay to drop the rate by a factor of 0.1 every 10 epochs, or there's exponential decay, cosine annealing for this nice smooth curve down to 0, or even a warm-up phase. That's where you start very small and increase to a target rate, which, by the way, is totally essential when you're training really complex transformer models. Moving on to Section 5, Upgrading the Algorithm. So far, we've really just talked about the standard way to walk downhill. But plain gradient descent can sometimes be too slow or too unstable for the real physical hazards of our mathematical mountain. Over the years, the machine learning community has developed some pretty incredible modern optimizers. First, they added momentum to SGD. This accumulates a moving average of past gradients, literally acting like a ball rolling downhill, building speed and dampening those wild oscillations we talked about earlier. Then came Adagrad, which actually adapts the learning rate per parameter. That was followed by RMS Prop, which fixed some of Adagrad's shortcomings. But the ultimate evolution here? That's ADAM, Adaptive Momentum Estimation.
Atom is the undisputed industry standard right now. It combines the momentum of that rolling ball with the smart, per-parameter adaptation of RMS prop. It requires minimal tuning, it's incredibly robust, and honestly, it works flawlessly out of the box for most problems. Let's move on and see how this builds our defenses against the actual environmental hazards our upgraded hiker is going to face out there. Even with Atom, you might hit local minima. Though to be fair, in deep networks, these are usually almost as good as the global minimum. A much bigger threat are saddle points. These are flat plateaus where the gradient is zero, but it's definitely not the bottom. This is exactly where momentum kicks in to help push you through. In deep networks, you might also face vanishing gradients, where early layers simply stop learning. We solve this with things like ReLU activations or ResNet architectures. Conversely, you might face exploding gradients, where updates just blow up into massive numbers. The solution there is gradient clipping. It literally caps your maximum gradient value so your hiker doesn't accidentally take a fatal leap off a cliff.